Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
We're in the kitchen and we're with the heat.
We're with the heat.
We can stand the heat and we're in the kitchen.
That's right.
We're talking about chili beers today.
And this is the last of an ancho chili beer that I made about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. It's a little long in the tooth, but it's the very last bottle.
You know, the ancho chili flavor has faded over time, but it's still a very active component of the taste. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice beer.
Thank you very much.
I could drink that all day.
We probably will.
Along with these.
Let's talk about this great chili experiment that I did.
What was your motivation? What was your process?
Well, if you know me, you know I love chilies. I love New Mexico style chili dishes, big chili head. And so I wanted to take a look at thinking about each kind of chili. Mm-hmm. There's lots of kinds of chilies. Like you couldn't do every chili. So I picked 5 that I could get my hands on and that I particularly like. I made a base beer, a very simple 1050 original gravity base beer, very low hopped.
Just a basic pale ale.
Basic pale ale. Split that into 5 1-gallon jugs. Put each one of these 5 different dried chilies onto there, and left on the secondary. Bottled the beers.
How long was it on the secondary?
About 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we bottled it up, and let's talk about what we've got and taste the beers.
So they're different. So we're going to go from mildest to hottest.
That's right.
And where should we start?
Let's start with an ancho chili and an ancho chili beer. The ancho chili is the mildest of the 5 that I picked, and it you should note raisins and caramel, some heat, but not a lot. And my point in this experiment was not to make hot beers. My point was to explore the essence or the flavor of the chili itself as it relates back to malt and a little bit of hops.
It is the cousin of this beer that we started with.
Definitely.
You can get some of the raisin, some of the dark fruit.
And it's fresher. You know, so this is a beer that's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. This still has a nice chili component. Don't get me wrong, but this is fruitier. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I would infer from this that you'd want to drink your beer pretty young.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Like hoppy beers, where you got a lot of hop flavor and aroma, those compounds are probably going to settle out or mellow, whatever they do.
That's right. And you definitely want, if you're doing chili beers, you definitely want to cut back on the hops. The hops and the chilies will compete with each other, and not in a good way.
Right. You got the sharp bitterness, and then you got any heat is going to be sharp as well, acidic. Yeah. And so those two combine together.
They're both working on your palate in the same way. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the next beer that we're going to try is based on a Big Jim, New Mexico chili, dried chili. This is a milder version. You have to remember that with New Mexico chilies, there are very mild varieties and there are very hot varieties. So know what you're getting. But this is a mild variety.
Kind of like with hops. Some varieties of hops have low alpha acid, some high. Oh,
not very light and fruity.
Yeah, I was going to say that's it's kind of crisper. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot more heat, but it's more of a lighter fruity flavor in that one. That's tasty. That would be a refreshing beer in the summertime.
Okay, now we're moving on to the Guajillo, which is a Guajillo. I love saying that.
It starts with a G.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it in the store.
This is said to be, it is a little bit hotter chili. It's a Mexican variety. Said to be more earthy. Should pack a little bit more heat.
Oh, it's a completely different beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of a darker. There may be a teeny bit more heat. But again, you weren't looking for the heat.
I wasn't trying to put a lot of heat in it. In fact, in the secondary, I put a pepper. And so I wasn't trying to load up a lot of heat from this one. So a relatively mild pepper, you could put a lot in and bring out more heat and bring out more flavor. But the point was just to get the essence of it and not to get heat in particular.
Right.
So, okay, the next beer we've got going here is a Chipotle flavored beer. So this is flavored with a smoked jalapeno, which I just love. Oh my gosh. This will probably ruin your palate, but
It's like barbecued ribs.
Wow,
And
that's
that's what I'm smelling
amazing.
in this, and this is what would go good with this beer is barbecue ribs. I can tell already.
That's really tasty.
Oh, that's good.
You just get that smoke. It's reminiscent of a Rausch beer, but it has other components. It's different. It's not a Rausch beer, but it has that same smokiness. This would
that's
be a
good.
great chili also to put into a porter.
Yeah. And it's not hot. It's not to the level where it's hot. So you could sneak a couple of chilies into a porter and give it a smoky effect without bumping up the heat, especially if it's malty porter.
So this is the last one. This is based or flavored with a Pequin is the name of the chili. And it's a very hot chili.
Now, you put more than one in
I
that.
put 3, I believe. And these guys are really little.
Yeah, they're
You'll
very,
get
very
a close-up of this, but they're really tiny. They're about the size of an M&M or a raisin.
But instead of not melting in your hand, they'll melt your hand.
That's right. And this is packing some heat. So 3 of these little chilies in a gallon is giving me a nice chili bite. It's still not overwhelming. It's still not enough that it would,
Right.
put most people off.
Ooh. And it's not at the front of the tongue, it's at the back.
It's in the back, yeah.
It's where you swallow. So I actually helped Steve bottle this batch, or this experiment. And what we were doing is we were playing around with the leftovers, and we started blending.
Yeah.
And so we would start with a base of, say, the smoked chipotle, pardon me, and then we would mix in a little bit of the Pequin, and then a little bit of the ancho, and we actually, of course I don't remember, actually got a ratio of the chili characteristics that we liked in these beers. And so what you could do is you could fix like a sachet of, and
Ancho and
he's a wild man, he's
Pequin.
blending right now.
And a little smoked jalapeno. And this is how you play around.
That's right, exactly. Play with your beer.
Play with your beer.
So what you do in a small batch like this, an experiment like this, is you find the flavors, find the base
Taste this.
flavors.
This is more complex. This is a different beer altogether.
Ooh. Now, what'd you do there?
I took Pequin, ancho, and chipotle.
So you get a little of
splash of
the
each.
vegetal thing of the
Yeah.
ancho, the smoked of the chipotle, and then the heat of the Pequin. That's good. So see what you do is in the secondary, then you put a mixture,
Yeah.
a weighted mixture of these peppers together, and then they all blend together, and you have this complex chili beer
Yep.
that is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I think it's great. You should try something like this, mess around with it, and let us know what you come up with.
Yeah. So that was wonderful.
Thanks.
We'll play some more. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy brewing, everybody.
Happy chilies.
Come and visit us on the web. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs, Introduction to Extract Home Brewing, Stepping into All Grain, Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, and our latest edition, Introduction to Wine Kits. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Write to james@basicbrewing.com, steve@basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.
Oh no, Benji, don't eat that.